Oliver was a successful businessman, but felt weighed down by problems that he thought were insurmountable. Every morning, he woke up with thoughts of the many challenges he had to face, deadlines to meet, deals to close, and obstacles to overcome. He saw problems everywhere, each a formidable barrier between him and his goals. However, Oliver didn't know that the truth was far more straightforward than he could imagine. Problems were nothing more than illusions, shadows cast by the mind's tendency to dwell on the negative rather than the positive. It wasn't until Oliver found himself at a crossroads, on the brink of burnout and despair, that he met someone who would forever change his perspective on problems. Sitting on a park bench, lost in thought, Oliver was approached by an elderly gentleman with a twinkle in his eye and a smile that seemed to light up the entire world. The older man asked, "Troubled, my friend?" in a gentle and soothing voice. Oliver hesitated, unsure whether to confide in this stranger. But something in the man's demeanor put him at ease, and before he knew it, he found himself pouring out his troubles like water from a broken dam. "I feel like I am drowning in problems," Oliver confessed, his voice tinged with desperation. "No matter what I do, they keep piling up, one on the other." The older man listened carefully to Oliver's story, nodding in agreement. After Oliver had finished speaking, the old man responded with a simple yet profound statement that would improve Oliver's life. "Dear boy," the older man said with a twinkle in his eye, "problems are nothing more than illusions created by the mind. They are shadows that the mind makes when it focuses on the negative instead of the positive." Oliver was initially surprised by the older man's words. However, as he thought about them more, he saw his problems differently. He realized that worrying about them too much gave them more power over him, like allowing weeds to grow in a neglected garden. With his newfound clarity and purpose, Oliver faced his problems head-on. Instead of seeing them as obstacles, he viewed them as opportunities for growth and learning. He was eager to learn from and embrace his challenges instead of fearing them. Oliver approached them with curiosity and openness as he encountered setbacks and obstacles. He was eager to understand the hidden lessons and blessings beneath the surface. Oliver was amazed that the more he embraced this new perspective, the less power his problems had over him. They no longer loomed large in his mind, casting a shadow over his thoughts and actions. Instead, they became like wisps of smoke, dissipating into the air as he focused his energy on finding solutions rather than dwelling on the problem itself. Over time, Oliver understood that problems were nothing more than illusions, creations of the mind that held no power over him unless he allowed them to. With this newfound wisdom, he ventured into the world with a sense of freedom and liberation, knowing that despite any obstacles ahead, he had the power to overcome them. The difference between a situation and a problem lies in our perception. Whether a situation is a problem or not depends solely on how we choose to perceive it. Situations, including difficult ones, are a part of our daily lives and happen to all of us. However, problems do not simply happen to us. They are created in our minds. Once we realize this, we can learn how to stop creating problems for ourselves and be happier daily. We tend to dwell on the past and worry about the future, which leads to fear and anxiety. However, we cannot change the past or predict the future. Therefore, it is essential to living in the present moment and focus on what we have control over. By doing so, we can reduce stress and anxiety in our lives. A problem is a negative description of our experience. On the other hand, a longing is a positive quality of the heart that we may not be in touch with. When we acknowledge our longing, we reconnect with the quality we long for. which is always present in our hearts, here and now. At a deeper level, we are what we seek. Although human progress has tremendously improved our daily lives, we still have an innate desire to avoid discomfort that is not easy to eliminate. Our expectation of a comfortable life has significantly reduced our ability to tolerate pain. As a result, we tend to see problems where there are none, which traps us in an ever-shrinking comfort zone. This tendency to perceive problems where they do not exist is known as prevalence-induced concept change. Every problem, including those related to the mind, is merely an appearance in consciousness, just like everything else. However, when the I enters the picture, it desires to conquer these appearances. In reality, every experience, including problems, arises and disappears independently, and you do not need to do anything. This is the nature of experience. It has a beginning and an end. If you encounter a life problem for which you can't find a solution, don't struggle with it. Instead, try to shift your focus to something else. Engage in an activity that brings you happiness or requires your full attention. As you stop paying attention to the problem, its momentum will slow. Although we can always choose how we react to a situation, some of us may be hesitant to let go of control or to admit that we never had power in the first place. However, attempting to control something we cannot control will only bring more suffering. By recognizing and accepting that we must sometimes let go and allow life to run its natural course, we liberate ourselves. We avoid the inevitable pain, stress, and anxiety that we would have otherwise experienced. Think about all those times when you have caused yourself mental anguish by constantly thinking about a problem. As humans, we often feel that it's our responsibility to solve every issue that comes our way. However, it's essential to understand that taking a break from the problem and engaging in other activities can be beneficial in finding a solution. Often, we create our own problems. By not paying attention to them, they may solve themselves. When we encounter a challenging situation, it's essential to avoid seeing it as a problem happening to us. Instead, we should ask ourselves if there's anything we can do to address it. If there is, we should take action and deal with it quickly. However, if we can do nothing, we shouldn't worry or stress about it. We must acknowledge the situation as it is, a set of circumstances beyond our control that we may be able to tackle at a later point. By putting the issue on the back burner or the shelf, we can avoid causing unnecessary distress. Our problems arise from negative thoughts surrounding our experiences and situations. This negative thinking causes us to view situations and experiences in a bad light, focusing solely on what is wrong and bad about them. In simpler terms, a problem is nothing but an interpretation of our situation or experience in a negative way. Every experience, feeling, and action occurs in the present moment. However, problems are related to time. You may feel sad about the past or worried about the future, but they cannot exist in the present and cannot be resolved in the present moment. On the other hand, challenges are current and can be acted upon. This is crucial because it is only by taking action, which is always in the present moment, that you can make real and meaningful changes in your life. How often do we create our own problems by our response to the things that happen rather than the things themselves? You can gain self-awareness by observing other people, not to judge them, but to understand how easily we can create our own problems. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more content. Thank you for watching.